With the Predator movie Prey now available on Hulu, it has become the streaming service's biggest movie ever after opening weekend. Prey's huge success has been the positive reviews on the franchise's new lore setting in 18th-century America, giving a more prequel basis to narrate the Predator's footprint on Earth. Given that each entry of the franchise has delved into a new setting with new characters, it is highly plausible for Prey's triumph to be followed by other Predator-centric stories introducing more unexplored scenarios. With streaming platforms allowing more room to play around with spin-off TV shows, the terrifying space hunter can also charter new territories in such formats. Predator sightings in other historical eras. Set in the Comanche Nation in 1719, the Predator fights off one of the tribe's warriors in Prey. As the country itself was undergoing a transformation from multiple colonizing forces, the period setting adds more challenges for the protagonist. Not only must she face an extraterrestrial threat but also European voyagers. This approach was a good change of tone from the Vietnam War drama and police procedural themes set by Prey's predecessors. A good step forward in terms of diversity and originality can be exploring the Predator's adventures in other historical eras, or even in other parts of the world. These settings can include a Predator movie set during World War II, the samurai shogunate in Japan, or even in the middle of a Viking invasion. The possibilities are endless. An Alien vs. Predator origin story. Given that Prey is set before all the other Predator movies, it can be argued that it serves as an origin story for the Predator. Hence, his technology and fighting skills are shown in a more nascent stage. Similarly, the creatures from Ridley Scott's Alien franchise have had their origins explored in the prequel Alien: Covenant. As both iconic beasts have joined forces in the two Alien vs. Predator movies, it is only rational to think if audiences can get a more comprehensive look behind the origins of their clash. The AVP duology has anyway dabbled in historical origins as it detailed how the Predator race built ancient pyramids. If more context is offered in the same timeline, it would be a treat for the franchise's fans. Prequel on Predator's home planet. Though the Predator's kind have been wandering on Earth for ages, it is clear that they hail from another planet, namely Yautja Prime. Though the celestial body has had brief appearances in the Alien vs. Predator movies, Yautja Prime's intense volcanic landscape can make for an adrenaline-fueled action flick. Setting up a movie on an alien planet would definitely be a new direction for the franchise. All this time, one of the biggest tropes in the Predator movies is that they love hunting humans and other animals for sport on Earth. But the franchise has yet to explore their livelihood, such planets' living conditions, and food sources. These are some of the questions that an otherworldly adventure can explore, and as no humans are on this planet, the entire dialogue can be in subtitled Yautja language. Revisiting Predators. Though Predator 2 and Shane Black's reboot were both panned, it was 2010's Predators that fared way better with the fans. Instead of the usual 1 versus 1 formula, Predators focused on teamwork as the ensemble portrayed a mixed bunch of mercenaries and ex-military officials. There is a nuanced depth to each of the human characters that add to their individuality. As the movie concludes on an open-ended note, there is potential for a sequel for unanswered questions. With Adrian Brody and Alice Braga's characters being the only remaining survivors on the alien planet, they encounter a fresh batch of human prey for the Predator's hunting games. A continuing adventure would maybe then provide more insights on the planet itself and some memorable group fighting sequences. an animated anthology series for streaming. The Boys Presents, Diabolical, Marvel's What If, and Love, Death, and Robots are some of the finest examples of animated anthology TV series. With a darkly satirical tone and excessive amounts of cartoonish violence, each segment offers more creative freedom than the live-action format would allow. Given that the Predator universe has no dearth of independent storylines in comic books and paperback novels, these narratives can be suitable for such an animated anthology show. As it is, most of the Predator movies have been standalone adventures. So, an anthology would be perfectly suited for such a franchise. A Prey video game. The last Predator game came out in 2020, but despite appearances by Arnold Schwarzenegger and Alice Braga, Predator: Hunting Grounds received mixed reviews and failed to make a mark. With Prey bringing some old-school action into the mix, a video game adaptation would be an interesting attempt to establish the franchise in the gaming world. The acclaimed 2016 game Far Cry Primal set itself apart from the rest of the Far Cry series with its prehistoric setting, allowing players to access spears, bows, and arrows, and other archaic weapons. Using similar weapon mechanisms and wild environments, the timeline can be updated to 18th century America, and a compelling Prey game adaptation can be developed. A movie from the Predator's paw. Despite the Predator finding his name in most of the movies, the story is almost always presented from the human perspective. The most that audiences catch a glimpse of Predator's paw is when he scans his prey in infrared vision. But with Prey adding new ideas to the table, a future Predator movie can feature the same hunter versus Prey combat formula but from the Predator's perspective. Their perception could answer things about his emotional fear during distressing periods and their defensive thought processing when he is overpowered. Exploring such dimensions can help audiences understand the character better instead of just categorizing him as a terrorizing extraterrestrial being. A found-footage horror. After the Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity franchise, the found-footage genre has been overexploited to make unmemorable horror flicks. But occasionally, the shaky cam techniques coupled with creative low-budget jump scares yield some fine new-age horror favorites. Examples of some horror movies that innovated the found-footage trope include Wreck, Host, The Visit, and Cloverfield. In that same vein, a found-footage Predator movie might amp up the franchise's scare level. The sight of an unmasked Yautja squealing and spraying their saliva directly on the viewer's perspective can provide some effective shock value. As the creatures are adept at camouflaging with their surroundings, they can prop up from any corner of the camera. Unimaginable crossovers from the comics. The Predator comic books are known for their ambitious crossovers, with Predator going against Batman, Terminator, RoboCop, Tarzan, Judge Dredd, Superman, and even Archie. It would be quite utopian to see these crossovers get adapted to the big screen. But if Alien vs. Predator, a concept birthed by a 1989 Dark Horse comic book series, could see the light of the day with 2 movies, maybe Predator might fight off AT-1000 or Judge Dredd in the distant future. Of course, the ultimate decision comes down to rights. Currently, the Predator is a property of the Walt Disney Company. And given the rate at which Disney has been buying up popular franchises like Star Wars and Marvel, it wouldn't be surprising if it brokers a deal for any of the aforementioned characters. And then, geeks can dream for these wacky crossovers to hopefully make it in a format that goes beyond the comic book pages. bringing back Arnie from Spider-Man: No Way Home to the recent Halloween movies. A good strategy for fan service is to bring back old actors for the nostalgia factor. But when done right, these comebacks can also prove to be fruitful. While Arnold Schwarzenegger hasn't had much luck with the numerous Terminator sequels, his return as an aged Dutch in a future Predator movie is bound to be hyped by the franchise's loyal fans. He can be characterized as a war-weary soldier who is still plagued by the nightmares of the Predator that he killed in the first movie. Regardless of how this hypothetical movie plays out, it goes without saying that the action star will have to repeat his iconic line, "Get to the choppa."
My heart returns to you, dinner, you were great. We can go back to mine if you want to. You look so good, I want to do that. I must be tripping. God, catch my